Uh-oh. This is either a natural or a honey coffee, probably what they call a red honey, which means that there's been a lot of the fruit residue left on the bean and it was dried slowly. To the fruit, there's a bit of a compost edge. You get the fruit, but it's a little, maybe it's the kind of fruit that you can't decide whether to eat it or throw it away because it's just on the edge of... But of course, it sort of segues toward chocolate, doesn't it? Dark chocolate.
Yeah, but fruit is overwhelming. I smelled the fruit when I first poured it, and it was, a foot away from me.
What would be some descriptors for you for the fruit?
The first fruit I thought I smelled was cherry, or raspberry maybe.
Well, raspberry is a little more tart than the fruit here, right?
Yeah, it's sweeter than that. You're right. It's not raspberry.
It's kind of a round, and I'm going for plum myself. Ripe, very ripe plum. Yeah, but that's a little bit arbitrary. Again, we could fall back on very, very ripe stone fruit.
Yeah, I think stone fruit. I'll wimp out stone fruit.
Yeah, because that gives us cherry, and I think cherry's good. Yeah, the cherry.
I think I've still got cherry on the brain. Yeah,
cherry is good. Definitely, it moves towards chocolate. Kind of cherryish fruit. Chocolate.
Yeah, well, it's kind of almost like a cherry Coke. Yeah.
Yeah.
It has a chocolate in it too.
Right.
There's always some sort of chocolate. Cherry phosphate. When's the last time I had one of those? I don't even know if they do them anymore anywhere.
I'm getting a kind of a wood note that's not very exciting. It's pleasant enough. Kind of a fir, fresh lumberyard fir.
Yeah.
I think we could look around to see what flowers and what nut we might call. I'm thinking maybe cashew on the nut. Those are all good descriptors. I mean, attractive aromas and tastes. Yeah, it gets better, Of course, when you're moving from coffee to coffee, is the last one that impresses you then sort of shadows the next one a little bit.
That is part of the deal, isn't it? Yeah.
This is getting better for me. Yeah. I'm almost afraid to taste it for fear that the overripe notes might take over. But here goes. Yeah. It's pretty clean. I mean, there's some hints of overripeness in the fruit, perhaps, but not a lot going on, I don't think, either. It's more chocolate and less fruit. Do you agree?
To me, the fruit always drops off a little bit from going from sniffing to tasting.
Mm-hmm.
I will certainly say this is nothing like the first three. That's not damning, I hope, in any way, but it's just different. Maybe more adjustments required for me.
Going back to the aroma from the cup, I'm getting the cashew note, kind of a sweet nut note, and also like a lily.
In the aroma, right?
Yeah. It simplifies in the cup, but it's pleasant enough.
Mm-hmm.
What about the mouthfeel? I think it's rather syrupy and plush mouthfeel.
Yeah, almost more mouthfeel than the rest of it.
Well, I mean, in other words, the mouthfeel is more prominent because the aromatics are a little muted. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think that's correct.
Interesting coffee. See, this just shows you the range that somebody would get if they bought a Costa Rican coffee today. Bill McAlpin would get off his couch and try to assault somebody who brought this coffee to him.
History needs us to explain that.
The explanation is that Bill McAlpin at the Specialty Coffee Association, he always sat on a couch at the coffee shows. At the La Manita booth, the only piece of anything, really, was just the couch. And he'd sit on the couch, and then people would come by to talk to him about his magnificent coffees, and he'd sit on the couch with them. I never got to sit on the couch.
Oh, you didn't? No, Ken.
No, because
you didn't buy a lot of coffee.
I gave his coffee a so-so review at some point.
Oh,
and he held it against me for years afterwards. And I tried to make up for it by praising his coffee every chance I got.
Too late.
Russ Kramer, who's I think runs La Manita now, they're a coffee importer, of course. They sell other coffees in addition to the La Manita, but he's sort of, I've made up with him apparently. Have anything more to say on this coffee, Kevin, before we disclose it?
Well, I think we can disclose it because I think the disclosing is going to provoke some conversation. And this is how's that? Is that good?
I can't see anything it's a very, very nice visual.
I'll give it to you. This is a lacto fermentation Costa Rica.
Oh, I see.
In the processing.
Lacto fermentation.
And I thought you would find this particularly interesting. Brand spanking new for Colectivo. Colectivo for years was Altira in Wisconsin, Milwaukee specifically, and fine roaster, the Fowler brothers. They were these two brothers who were quite charming and excellent coffee roasters and also selectors of coffee. They seemed to go out of their way to find coffees that were low profit and high flavor, my kind of guys. They have some interesting coffees, and this is one they just started carrying. Was looking for some Costa Ricas, and I spotted this. I said, well, it's the only one I can find. You mentioned that there were some interesting things possibly going on in Costa Rica. And I think that's an interesting facet, by the way, to all this. The producers are innovating a lot of these things right now, which wasn't true when I first started hanging around this kind of coffee.
I think that two things happened. The industry matured so that opportunity for innovation at origin, but the other thing is that the roasters started roasting lighter. Remember, when specialty coffee in about 2000, you couldn't find a medium roasted coffee. There was no opportunity for differentiation from the producers, but now, particularly, we don't have an extremely light roasted coffee here, but definitely all of these coffees that we've tasted are roasted light enough so that the character of the coffee can make itself felt. But lacto, I don't, this is something that I usually will have some wrinkle to processing. I'll usually have a 5-minute digression. But I don't have any digression because I know it's something added to the tank, but I'm not quite sure. Lactic acid, I suppose, but I'm not sure about the chemistry or the background of that innovation.
Well, it's something to keep an eye on because certainly it causes it to be quite different than any other Costa Rican I've had. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more shows like this.